Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate.
No, come along, Bort.
Hello and welcome to the Bort Experience. I'm your host, Cody Galat. I'm trying out a different setup for the podcast, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I think it's going to work out pretty well, but I'm still kind of playing around with it. A few housekeeping notes. I was really trying to stream a little bit more on the channel, either on Kick or Twitch or even just YouTube. Just hard finding time, full-time job, family, but I still want to get there one day and hopefully bring more content to the channel. I'm still working on it. But thank you for all your support. Please just let me know anything that you would like to see on the channel down in the comments below. But without further ado, let us jump into the episode. It's Bart versus Thanksgiving, a very timely episode, especially with this time of year. Thanksgiving is next week, so if you do celebrate, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Bart versus Thanksgiving is season 2, episode 7, 20 overall. So we're on the 20th episode of the show. It was written by George Meyer and directed by David Silverman. It originally aired on Fox in the United States on Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 1990. The blackboard gag is, "I will not do that thing with my tongue," which I found very funny. And then the couch gag is Grandpa Simpson on the couch sleeping. He kind of gets like stuttered awake. Pretty good couch gag, I would say. The summary of the episode: when Bart is blamed for ruining Thanksgiving, he runs away to find a soup kitchen and some homeless men. Eventually, Bart returns home intending to apologize, but has a last-minute thoughts and climbs to the roof of the Simpsons' house, where he hears Lisa sobbing. He apologizes to her, and the family happily enjoys a meal of leftovers. So my thoughts. I thought this was a really great episode. Some of the key kind of things that stood out to me. At the very beginning of the episode, we have the kind of Macy's Day Parade, and they have this kind of meta joke where Homer's saying, hey, they just do any kind of cartoon characters now because Bart doesn't recognize Rocky and Bullwinkle. And as Homer's kind of lamenting about that fact that, hey, they can't just do any cheap cartoon, we see a Bart Simpson float across on the screen. Maggie kind of sees it, and we kind of go to a shot of her. I thought that was fantastic. Just kind of meta commentary about the show and its relevance, especially at the time in the 90s, at the height of its power in pop culture. So I thought that was great. I also found it interesting, the dynamic of Lisa and not feeling appreciated by the family, but she does this, sculpture diorama of Thanksgiving and kind of the women that are her heroes throughout, history. That I can't remember the lady's name, but one of them helped save the Everglades. I think Susan B. Anthony was one of the other ones, and Bart's he doesn't care, and he's like, well, I think it's funny, and then he accidentally burns it, or maybe intentionally. I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous because they're kind of fighting over it because he wants to place the turkey down. So I just found that kind of dynamic very interesting. And I have siblings, but we're very far in age, so we didn't really grow up together. But I wonder if that's how a lot of families are, where there was these fights, but at the end you still love each other because you're a family. I know not every family is the same, so of course not everyone's close with their relatives, but it does make me wonder that that's an aspect of the show that they're getting right. I also like how Homer and just the dynamics with Patty and Selma, and then also Grandpa. There was a great kind of scene at the nursing home where people are faxing. Hey kids, you know what a fax is? They're faxing the old people in the home and the nursing home saying, hey, we still love you, but we couldn't make it. And to them, because no one else is there visiting them, that to them is considered a win. And there's one of the older ladies who said, I knew they still loved me and cared to send this. So I find that very, funny and kind of sad. And then even Homer says like, "Hey, this place is sad. Let's get out of here." And there's even a sign when Homer enters saying, "Please do not talk about the outside world." So I just always love those kind of little jokes about the commentary of things that we don't really talk about. And this is how like old people are treated, unfortunately, still. But it's funny, but you always hope better for yourself when you reach that age, or hopefully maybe there will be a better society and better ways, either virtual reality or to feel like you're still connected with the world. I also found just, Bart going to Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns takes one bite of this huge spread that Smithers made and then just throws it away. Bart smells a pie, but there's laser like shield or laser detection when he tries to grab it. Burns, of course, releases the hounds. I think this might be the first time we've seen him release the hounds, which is a running joke that is throughout the series. I thought that was great. I also thought it was just kind of cool to see a little bit more of his grounds and inside his mansion, which we'll see definitely more of in the future. And then kind of Kent Brockman was pretty funny with his, going to the soup kitchen just kind of for like a PR move and saying like, hey, they call them bums, like almost like very denigrating them. And he's like, hey, one time a year we give them a turkey bone type of thing. So overall, it was a really great episode. There wasn't really a B plot, but there was a lot going on. We get Marge's mother, who's voiced by the same actress, and just has horrible things to say to her. Like, I wish I didn't come. My voice is, going out. The one thing I do want to say is you're a disappointment pretty much. So it's just like, I feel bad for Marge in this episode. She gets it from that. And then she also gets it from her sisters in a way where the sisters bring like food because like your turkey's so dry. And it's like a really good meta commentary on like, some people have these families where you get together like once or twice a year and it's like freaking horrible. And you're like, God, I don't want to see this person again. And then some people have families where they're like, oh man, this is incredible. I'm so glad to see you. And, from me and myself and my wife and my son and like, our friends and some of our family, we're trying to build that more like tradition where it's like, hey, let's support each other. Let's not tear each other down. Life's too short to have those kind of people in your lives. So I do hope if you do celebrate Thanksgiving or even just having family gatherings that they're actually a joyous occasion and not something that you dread and like are just ready for it to be over. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a great episode. Probably, I still think I liked the previous episode better, but this one was really great. And also just like that kind of Thanksgiving theme, I think works really well in shows and sitcoms where it's like, oh, the themed episode, the Christmas episode, the Halloween episode, the Thanksgiving, you can't really go wrong a lot of times. So next we're going to move to our next segment, Citizens of Springfield. So we have Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson and Grandpa. We have Julie Carvener as Marge, Grandma Bouvier, Patty and Selma. We have Nancy Cartwright as Bart, Yardley Smith as Lisa, and Harry Shearer as Kent Brockman, Keith Jackson, Burns, and Smithers. We also had Greg Berg as Homeless Guys and Maggie Roswell as Mrs. Spencer and Nurse. Sometimes like on the cast list, I'm like, who? Like, and here's what I do. I second guess myself because I watch the episode, I write my notes, and then I record. And sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm pulling this from this source. These are the actors they said were in the episode. I don't remember some of these people. Like, I don't remember a nurse, but I just have to go with what the information I have. I can't really, I guess I could like pause the episode and try to write down every cast member, but it takes too long. So I apologize if you're ever like, those people weren't in that episode. Because sometimes I feel the same way. So the MVP of the episode, I have to give it to Bart and Lisa, just their kind of interactions. And even Maggie had a great moment where Lisa's like, hey, do you want to contribute to the diorama of the centerpiece that she makes? And Maggie kind of scribbles on the crayon and then she gives her a hug. And I don't know why. It's probably because I'm a dad now, but that really felt very like, oh, that was so sweet. And like, you want, I don't know. It just made me so happy. And it was a great moment. It was very small. And I don't even know if anyone else would notice something like that, but it felt so great. And then her like convincing Bart, like, hey, look really deep down in yourself and understand why you feel bad for what you did. I thought that was, fantastic stuff. And I think when The Simpsons kind of has those heartfelt moments is when the show really shines. So I give it to Bart and Lisa. The best joke I thought came when Homer's kind of praying before they eat the meal. So, and Lord, we are especially thankful for nuclear power, the cleanest, safest energy source there is, except for solar, which is just a pipe dream. Anyway, we like to thank you for the occasional moments of peace and love our family has experienced. Well, not today, but you saw what happened. Oh, Lord, be honest. Are we the most pathetic family in the universe or what? Oh, that was like fantastic. Everyone just kind of starts eating and just doesn't really care. And I think this kind of shows up at least in the episodes I've watched so far, where Homer has this thought of like, man, I wish my family was better. But this is kind of we are Simpsons, so this is what it is, kind of thing. And I'm curious to see how that will evolve over time on other episodes of the show. But I just thought it was like a fantastic joke, where it kind of starts off like, okay, standard, and then he kind of goes on one of his rants. And last but not least, my favorite section of all these episodes is trivia. So here's what we got. What is the name of the hockey team Bart is on? Again, what is the name of the hockey team that Bart is on? Subscribe, get the answer to the full podcast every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Well, if you're watching the podcast, of course, you get the answer now, or you can let me know in the comments. But that answer, of course, is the Mighty Pigs. That I thought that was a great question. I'm pretty soon going to be going to my first National Hockey League game up in Pittsburgh. I'll be there for work, and I'm excited to see that. I've never been to one in person. I always found hockey to be like, when you see them on highlights, too fast, or like I just don't understand. But I feel like it's one of those sports when you're there in person, kind of like baseball. It's a little bit better when you're there in person instead of watching it on TV, at least in my opinion. But I thought that answer, the Mighty Pigs, was great because I went to the University of Arkansas. So if you're from the South, it's, Woo Pig Suey, the Razorbacks. So I thought that was a great name for a team. But overall, I enjoyed the episode. Let me know what your thoughts down below. Also, again, let me know on the new kind of podcast setup. I'm just kind of trying this out to see. I kind of, maybe like it a little bit better, but we'll kind of play with it. But until next time, peace out.